Welcome to another edition of Vintage Drum Restoration Garage, and today I bring you a pedal that many of you may not have seen. And these are two different eras of pedal, and it's the Jacques Capelle pedal. These are made in France. Also, they were made by Orange. Orange was an amplifier, and I think they made guitars in England, I believe. And I think they took over for Jacques Capelle, but don't quote me on that. Anyway, this is one of my favorite pedals around. You may remember I did a restore of some Rogers pedals a few months back, and up against these pedals, for me, these just completely wipe them off the map. Rogers pedals are fine pedals, I guess, for other people, not me. Wasn't my scene. I've got a few of them. I'll probably end up selling them, actually, because I just didn't really... well, first of all, I don't like the way they attach to the bass drum hoop. Probably no one does. But other than that, just want to give you an idea what these things are like. I have two variations. I don't know how much different they are, other than really they're pretty much the same from what I can see. They work on this like cam gear, and this cam works on these two springs, and when you pull the pedal down or push it down, it operates that top spring right here, and then to bring it back up, this one brings it back up. So it's kind of like a fulcrum, you know, and you adjust those by these two knobs. I believe these are on wrong, and you know, these things just need general cleaning up and adjusting. They also made another pedal that was on this kind of a bar here, but this bar went onto the bass drum. Excuse me. And it attached to the bass drum hoop, and then it didn't have all this rigmarole down here. This is quite heavy. I think these pedals weigh about, I'm just guessing 15 pounds, mainly because of this whole array here. But, you know, because the pedal doesn't really weigh much, the footboard. And so let me just take one of these things apart and I'll come back at you. First thing, when I was taking this adjusting knob off, I noticed it wouldn't come off, because what they do here is they, like they do on Gretsch tone controls and Ludwig tone controls, they put divots in the threads. You can kind of see them here. And so what you have to do is you have to chase those down with your die and get those threads to be operable again. And we'll do that completely when we redo these, when we take everything apart. So I'm just going to chase them down a little ways to where these threads will operate correctly, and they are now. Okay, the next thing we have this chain attached here, and we've got a cotter pin, which we're going to have to undo here. So that's what I'm going to do right now. That holds the chain on to the sprocket. Okay, now when we've got that chain off of there, And I want to take this sprocket off here. I want to clean everything real good. So right in this hole right here, you've got a Allen screw in there. So I'm just going to take that off of there. Once you get that Allen screw undone, you just want to take your mallet here and tap that gear off there. It's on there pretty good. So what I did was I took I put my gear here in the vise and clamped it to this with the wooden jaws, and I put a punch in here and hammered this gear out. You know, it hasn't been apart since the early 70s. And now this part comes out of here, I think. All right, let me see what we've got here now. Okay, I got this part off of here. It was simple. You just needed to undo this screw off of here, and it came right out. I don't think the rest wants to come apart. I'm not so sure I need to. I don't want to ruin the bearings or do anything stupid, so you know, they roll really good, so I'm not unhappy with the bearings or anything. I'm really just trying to clean this. So I'm going to move on to the disassembling the rest of the footboard. Here's another really cool feature of this. So when you put it on your bass drum hoop, this is spring loaded. The little plate that clamps down to the footboard. So, you know, it makes it so much easier to put it on your bass drum. I'm taking these screws all the way out. I'm going to clean everything. And you can see the spring. It's one of those, it's right here. You can see it. One of those little windy springs here. That's it right there. And it's on the bottom of the pedal. Right here. So we're not going to take that completely apart. We don't need to. I lied. We did take all of it off. I wanted to clean this. It's kind of rusty, this part, and you know, it goes here like this, and it's got the spring here. This is what the spring looks like. I'll show you how we install that when I'm done cleaning this stuff here. Okay, I've got this ready to, I've got it cleaned up as good as it's going to get. I'm just going to put the bolt in there. Bolt goes in like that, and then this spring here goes in and attaches underneath there like that. Then when you put it on this part here, hopefully you can see this. When you put it on here, this part has to go here like that. So you got to kind of get the bolt started. I think it's threaded because I had to see. So yeah, it was threaded. And I'm just going to get it on there a little ways, and then I'm going to put the spring back on. Got it. There we go. Get this down a little bit. There we go. There it is. And then it has another little cap, sort of a bolt nut on there. I don't think this thing wants to be completely tight, so I'm going to take this out of here, and I'm going to use the wrench here just loosen it up a little bit. And I'm going to hold this here. Get my there we go. And she's working good. Okay, now I've just cleaned all these threads real good, and I'm gonna screw this down here. Get this thing all back to go together here again. Okay, so these pedals attach like the Gretsch do. They just pop in these little holes. This is like spring steel, and you just close it up a little bit and put it in these holes, and it's ready to go. So I've reassembled this gear, and you can see this is like a lobe, where this kind of goes up and down like a cam, and you know the beater comes out right here, so this lobe has to be in the right position. So when you're assembling it, make sure you take note on which way this thing goes. And the springs come out of here. So this part here goes like this, and you just slide it in there. And it's got to line up with this flat spot here, because that rides on the pole here. Can you see this? Let me get this camera a little better for you. So here I'm sliding that in there. It's going right down in that slot, you see there? And now we have to decide where we want our pedal, but our height. But we're not going to do that right now. Basically, we're just going to get this thing to where it'll stay still, so we can put it back together. All right, that'll stay there now. Now, as you recall, we have to get this cotter pin in this little hole here. It's right there in that gear there. Here's my little cotter pin. I'm going to put it in there. And there it is. Just going to tap it in. My hammer here. Okay, that's in there. Just going to bend these over a little bit. Now you have to get this chain adjusted just right. So you've got to get this lobe where you want it. The lobe is just a little bit to the, it's about at almost 1 o'clock. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this one in here first. Put one of these deals on here, a little bit. We can always get this thing finally adjusted after we and by the way, I cleaned all these threads real good and oiled them too. Oops, sorry about that. Reason for me doing this actually is because, oh, I see, I put this part on the wrong side. This bar has to go over here. That was an easy fix. Now you can see it's lining up just right. Okay, now we got to decide where we want these springs, you can see that it's about a tooth off here. So I'm gonna pull it back to this one here. You can see it's a few teeth off. There it is. It's coming along. Let's see here. Yeah, these got to line up just right. Just about there, really. There it is. Perfect. And these lock. These are the locking once you get it where you want it, which you never know where you want it until you get it behind your bass drum. So I'm just gonna give it a basic twirl, and when I get it behind my bass drum, I'm going to get it finally adjusted. Hey, by the way, these are kind of hard to find pedals, but you know, a lot of times they just sit there. Periodically, I check in to see if these things are available on eBay, and I've seen them just sitting there, man, for really reasonable prices, and it might behoove you to check into it, because these are, you know, it's one of the finest pedals around. That and the oh, by the way, I believe ProMark took over making these two for a very short time in the 70s. I think I've seen them with the ProMark name on them. I'm pretty sure. But it's the same design, and it's really a cool pedal. So there it is. Jacques Capelle. He made other products too. I don't know who or what else he did, but he. Oh, and see, you can adjust this whole mechanism up and down. If you like your pedal flat, more flat, like, you know, I do a little bit more. I don't want it way up there. I don't want it real low, but I don't want it real high either. So I'll probably put it right there, and I'll be able to. I got to find a beater for this. Someone had a DW beater on this, which I don't like these beaters. Junk. So there it is, Jacques Capelle. Great pedals. Look into them. They're really nice and smooth, quiet. The only thing I got to say about them is they're really heavy. So what are you going to do? Oh, and you can put this thing, you can adjust the height of the pedal like this too. So if you don't want your springs, you know, there's a lot of adjustments. I'm not sure why that's that way. I shouldn't say, but I'll just put this beater on here so you can see the motion of it, even though this is not right. No, I don't have it tightened. You know. Yeah, I don't have it tightened down there. So, when I get another beater, I'll be happy. Okay, well, thanks for visiting here at the Vintage Drum Restoration Garage. Until the next time, take care. I think I found a beater I kind of like. I think this might be an old Rogers. Anyway, I'm going to try it out. I prefer a pretty heavy beater. I didn't tighten that down real good, but here's what it looks like. It's got this little groove in here. I believe that might be a Rogers. So I'll tighten that down next time where it doesn't flop out of there. Okay. Look at that. Look at the way that works. See that cam coming forward? It's really an ingenious design. Just makes for a real smooth action. It comes right back at you. So